What up, world? This your boy, DJ Sugar Bear, back in the house, on the ones and twos. And man, can you feel that energy? That's what we do here on the Drama Network. This is where new school YouTube and old school soap opera radio have a baby. And trust me, this baby's got sass. Welcome to your ultimate destination for gripping, serialized stories that dive deep into the messy, passionate, and often scandalous realities of human relationships. You're tuned into WDRA YouTube Radio, where I, KC Saga aka DJ Sugar Bear, guide you through intricate plots bursting with love, honor, and devastating betrayal. From hidden affairs to shocking revelations, our daytime operas will keep you on the edge of your seat, just like the classics you grew up with. If you crave stories where trust is broken, loyalties are tested, and every twist leaves you wanting more, you found your new obsession. And speaking of twists, you ain't seen nothing yet. Get ready, because today we're kicking off something brand new, an extension of the drama you love. We're diving headfirst into our new series, Payback Anthology, the drama opera series. Each episode of Payback Anthology brings you a complete, standalone story, packed with all the high emotional drama you expect from the Drama Network. Get ready for tales where relationships hit the rocks, hidden schemes lurk beneath the surface, and let's just say, some folks get what's coming to them. It's intense, it's unpredictable, and it's all for you. Right after this, we plunge into the next installment of Payback Anthology. Okay, my faithful listener, can you answer this question and be honest? Is your partner lying about her boss? If you're not sure, like so many others, then you're not going to want to miss a single second of Episode 5, Black Coffee with Cream and Sugar.
October 2018. The scene opens with Keisha sitting on her bed, a crumpled letter clutched in her hand. Sunlight streams through her window, illuminating the faint, dried tear tracks that map her cheeks. As she reads his letter, "Dear Keisha, I have taken this time to gather my thoughts and make some decisions concerning my future. I hope this letter finds you doing well. I want you to know that I love you more than life itself. But my decision has a rationale that extends beyond just love. So, if you are interested, I would still like to marry you. However, I do have some conditions, and if you say yes, I will be happy. If you say no, I will understand and move on." The bracelet goes back to Mr. Brown. "You will resign from the deli. You promise never to see or be involved with Mr. Brown again. If you want to proceed, meet me at Rosie's on Sunday after church at 3 p.m. If you show up, I will know that you agree, and we can move forward. If you don't, then I will assume that you prefer not to, and I will move on with my life. Sincerely, Jamal." Sunday afternoon. Rosie's Diner is bustling with the after-church crowd, the air thick with the aroma of coffee and fried food. Keisha sits in a corner booth, her hands clasped tightly in her lap, nervously stirring a glass of water. Her gaze darts towards the entrance every few seconds, a mixture of hope and anxiety etched on her face. Finally, Jamal walks in. His shoulders are squared, his expression a carefully constructed mask of apprehension and resolve. His eyes scan the crowded diner, and he spots her tucked away in the corner booth. He takes a breath, then walks over to her. His voice is cautious, holding a fragile hope. "Keisha, you came." Her voice is earnest, a plea for understanding. "Jamal." She looks directly into his eyes, her own filled with a mixture of remorse and determination. "About your conditions in the letter. I want you to know that I already quit the job at the deli." She pauses, meeting his gaze steadily. "And I returned the bracelet." She takes another breath, her voice firm despite the tremor in her hands. "And I promise you, Jamal, that I will never see or be involved with Mr. Brown again." Keisha's internal thoughts. "He can never know the real reason I don't work at the deli anymore." Mrs. Brown's fury. The way she looked at that bracelet, knowing what it meant to Mr. Brown and me. If Jamal knew she suspected a romantic relationship, it would destroy any chance we have. He just needs to believe I did these things for him, to try and fix what's broken between us. And seeing Mr. Brown, it has to stop. For Jamal, for the baby. Speaking aloud, her voice softening, tinged with a nervous vulnerability. "There's something else, Jamal. Something I needed to tell you." She reaches out a hand, her palm resting gently on her lower abdomen. "We're going to have a baby. I'm 3 months pregnant." Jamal's carefully constructed composure cracks. His expression shifts, the guardedness dissolving into utter shock. A flicker of profound realization washes over his face as his eyes drop to her hand resting on her stomach, then snap back to hers, a powerful sense of purpose solidifying his features. "Keisha," he says, his voice filled with a determined joy, a plan already forming in his mind. That is in alignment with the future I have envisioned for us. A child is a blessing, a responsibility I embrace wholeheartedly. No child of mine will be born without a father. Let's go to the justice of the peace for now. We can have a big production for the families later. The honor and well-being of our family, Keisha, is paramount. This child, this is the next step. I love you, baby." A wide, relieved smile spreads across his face, the planner in him already mapping out their next steps. "I'm going to order some lemonade. We will have a toast to the new Jackson family in Sandusky." Keisha's internal thoughts. It worked. His reaction is exactly what I hoped for. Relief floods me, but it's a calculated relief. This baby is my anchor now, my way back to him. I just have to keep the truth buried deep. April 2025. "So," Jamal began, leaning back slightly, "that's the backstory of the Jackson family, or at least the beginning of it." He paused, a soft smile touching his lips. "But there are other milestones, happy ones. I married Keisha in 2018, he continued, a fond look in his eyes. And our first child, our daughter Nia Johnson, was born on April 22nd of the following year. She's 7 now, a whirlwind of energy." A slight furrow creased his brow as he added, "Funny enough, Keisha and I actually got married about 6 months before Nia arrived, on September 10th, 2018. He then beamed. Then came our boys. Deshaun Jackson was born on January 25th, 2021. He's a spirited 4-year-old. And our youngest, Khalil Jackson, joined us on June 2nd, 2023. He's our little 2-year-old charmer." A beat of silence hung in the air before Jamal's voice took on a puzzled tone. "Oh, Nia. Why is her last name not Jackson?" A wry smile touched his lips. That was a bit of a... Well, I didn't know it then, but looking back, I guess you could say I was scammed on that one." He shifted in his seat, a nostalgic yet slightly exasperated expression on his face. "So, back in 2019, when Keisha went into labor, there I was, doing what I always did, working my butt off, trying to make sure I was financially ready for our baby girl." "So, it's the day of delivery," Jamal recounted, a hint of lingering frustration in his voice. "Keisha was at the hospital, and her whole crew was there. Mom, Dad, the whole family from her side. And me. I was at work. I finally get home, exhausted, and there's a text message waiting for me. It's from my mother-in-law, Sharon. At the hospital. When are you coming to see your baby girl?" He chuckled softly. I immediately called Sharon. She picked up, her voice bright. "Congrats, Jamal. Keisha is finally out of the delivery room. You have a 6-pound baby girl." But then the confusion hit me. "Wait," I said, "why didn't someone call me?" There was a slight hesitation on the other end. "Jamal," Sharon said, a touch apologetic, "I have been calling you all day. Keisha's been dealing with, having a baby. She asked me to find you. Listen, just come to Furlan's Regional Hospital." So I rushed over there, and before I even got to see Nia, Sharon pulled me aside. She insisted she'd been calling and texting me all day. But my phone hadn't rung, no messages. That's when she picked up her own phone from the food tray and her eyes widened. She'd been calling and texting the wrong number the entire day. A soft smile returned to Jamal's face. Finally, they brought in my baby girl, Nia. It was overwhelming. Then, a nurse came in, Nurse Paulson, holding a baby. She looked at Jamal and Keisha, and then her brow furrowed. "I hear the father is back," she asked, her eyes fixed on Jamal with a puzzled look. Keisha's face immediately fell, and she laughed nervously. "Oh no, he just got here. You must be confused," she said, quickly gesturing towards Jamal. "Show the new dad the baby." Jamal, puzzled, stood up a little straighter. "Yes, that's me," he replied. Nurse Paulson's confusion cleared. "Oh, okay. I was just confused," she said, her voice a little stiff. "Congratulations, sir. Meet your baby girl, Nia Johnson." Jamal's eyes flickered towards an unseen point in the distance. "Johnson." I looked at Keisha, my eyebrows shooting up. "What? Why not Jackson?" Keisha looked sheepish, a little guilty. "Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. I was asleep when they filled out the paperwork. I woke up all groggy from the medicine and I just signed. They said nothing we can do about it now." Jamal paused, a tender look washing over his face as he remembered holding his newborn daughter. "I was just rocking her, singing some silly little tune, you know?" Suddenly, a booming voice cut through the memory. Keisha's dad, Mr. Johnson, strolled over, a wide grin on his face. "Hey, give that baby to the girls, son. Come on, it's time for a father-to-son-in-law to new dad talk." He laughed. "And I got a cigar here for the new dad." James, Keisha's dad, stepped forward, a lighter in his hand. "Here, let me light that for you, son." As Jamal took the offered cigar, James clapped him on the shoulder. "I believe you're gonna make a great dad, Jamal. You got the main ingredient, and that's care and love." "Thanks, sir," Jamal replied, feeling a warmth spread through him despite the earlier confusion. James's expression then turned slightly more serious. "Hey, listen, Jamal, I gotta tell you something. Now, it might be nothing, but something's afoot." He leaned in conspiratorially. "Here's why I say that. Keisha just lied to you. She was not under the influence of the drugs. She was in pain, sure, but she was just fine. She told them to use Johnson." James shook his head slightly. "Now, why? I don't know. And I know she gave Sharon the wrong number on purpose. I overheard them talking about it, son. I don't know why they didn't want you here for the naming of the baby. Some kind of game they're playing." The scene ends with Jamal's face etched with a look of utter bewilderment and dawning suspicion. His eyes darted around the imagined hospital room, a silent question hanging in the air. What's this all about? A new annuity. The scent of cedar and folded clothes hung in the air as Jamal rummaged through a shelf in the closet. Scammed. Lied to, gaslighting. That's what it felt like back at the hospital with Nia's name. He shifted a stack of sweaters, his brow furrowed. 6 years married now, in 2024. 6 years. He paused, his gaze distant. On the surface, everything looks fine. You know, the house, the kids, us. But for me, he moved some shoe boxes, his thoughts circling. Yeah, 6 years. But I've known Keisha a lot longer than that. She can lie, smooth as a rug. But there's always a corner that flips up eventually. He sighed softly. She'll say or do something. Just a little thing sometimes. That sets off these alarms in my head. He reached for a box on a higher shelf. Like this thing with Dad. He's rewriting his will. Said he needed some info on the kids. He's got some money he wants to. What was that word? He strained to remember. Something ties it for each of them. Something for their future. He scanned the contents of the box. Old photo albums, baby keepsakes. He couldn't spot the familiar manila envelopes. Hey, Keisha, have you seen the kids' birth certificates? Jamal called out. Keisha's voice drifted from the bedroom. Why do you need those? Jamal stepped out of the closet, looking at her as she folded laundry on the bed. Dad's rewriting his will. He needs some information on the kids. He said he was going to annuitize their inheritance. Keisha froze, a folded towel slipping from her grasp. Her eyes sharpened. Hell no. Your father has no reason to test any of my kids. Jamal stared at her, bewildered. Honey, what are you talking about? Keisha, why would your dad want to run DNA on our kids? Isn't that what annuitize means? Some kind of DNA testing. Jamal shook his head, a wave of disbelief washing over him. No. To annuitize is to take a lump sum of money and break it up into payments. My father is redoing his will, and instead of just giving the kids a chunk of money they might blow, he wants to set up an annuity, like a trust fund, so they'll have money that lasts. Keisha's tense posture softened slightly, a flicker of understanding in her eyes. Oh, an annuity, like a trust. Okay, well, the birth certificates should be in the top drawer of the filing cabinet in the office. You know, the one with all the important papers. Jamal nodded slowly, still processing her initial reaction. Right, the filing cabinet. Thanks. He headed towards the door, a thoughtful, slightly troubled expression on his face. Jamal was at the filing cabinet, pulling out the birth certificates. He took out his phone. Okay, got the stuff. Gonna go call Dad. Honey. Keisha entered the office. Okay. Jamal unlocked his phone and tapped the screen. He held the phone to his ear. Hey Dad, I got that info for you. Leroy's voice came through the speaker. Okay, just text it to me, Jamal. Actually, Dad, you want to hear a funny story? Yeah, son. So, I told Keisha you wanted to annuitize the kids' inheritance, and she thought it meant you wanted to get their DNA tested. She had a fit. There was a beat of silence on the other end. Son, why would she have a problem with DNA? Even if you were talking about that. Son, you might need to call Hammer. Dad, I ain't calling Hammer on my wife. Son, I'm gonna call him for you. I'll call you back. Dad, what are you suggesting? Son, you may need to have Hammer create a dossier. Jamal stared at his phone, a look of dawning concern on his face. Keisha watched him, a question in her eyes. Jamal was in shock. I can't believe my father wants me to hammer my wife. Well, okay, Don the Hammer Nelson, the most notorious lawyer in Ohio. A disciple of Johnny Cochran, currently a top 10 defense attorney in the country. My dad and he are best friends, and we do his office building's lawn. He is ruthless. He employs the best lawyers and investigators. If you need to find dirt on someone, he can find it. Maybe Dad's right. Well, guess it can't hurt to talk to him. My dad got me a hammer. Monday, April 25th, 2024. Jamal, a knot of anxiety tightening the collar of his crisp polo shirt, pushed through the heavy glass doors of the law office. The receptionist, a woman with a serene smile and perfectly coiffed gray hair, looked up. Hi, my name is Jamal, he stated, his voice a touch more formal than usual. I am here to see Mr. Nelson. Ah, Mr. Jackson, she replied, her fingers already dancing across the keyboard. He is aware of your arrival and will see you now. His office is the largest one in the back corner. She offered a polite nod, and Jamal followed her pointed finger down a hushed hallway lined with framed legal diplomas and stern-looking portraits. He reached a set of double doors that exuded an air of weighty importance. Before he could knock, one of the doors swung inward, revealing a man whose booming voice preceded him. Jamal, how you been, sir? Attorney Don the Hammer Nelson stood there, a shock of silver hair framing a face etched with years of courtroom battles and hearty laughter. He extended a hand that swallowed Jamal's in a firm grip. Haven't seen you since you were about 14. You have sprouted, kid. Come on in, take a load off. Don clapped him on the shoulder, ushering him into a room that felt like stepping into a bygone era of power and prestige. Dark mahogany panels lined the walls, interspersed with framed diplomas that looked like historical documents and antique maps hinting at global conquests. The air hummed with the quiet authority of old money, a subtle scent of expensive leather mingling with the dry fragrance of aged paper. A massive oak desk, polished to a mirror sheen, dominated the center, flanked by plush leather armchairs in the rich color of aged cognac. Underfoot, a thick Persian rug in deep reds and blues absorbed any stray sound. On a nearby credenza, a collection of antique gavels rested like trophies on velvet cushions. Don gestured towards one of the armchairs, and Jamal sank into its luxurious embrace. So Jamal, Don began, settling into the chair opposite, his gaze direct and businesslike, yet with a hint of the familiar. Your dad called me and filled me in on the conversation you had with your wife that had him spooked. Yes, sir, Jamal replied, his gaze flicking around the impressive office before returning to Dawn. And really, I trust my wife. I truly do. I don't really want to do this. However, I respect my dad. He's a wise businessman and can spot things, or tends to be a bit more. Let's say he can read people better than I can sometimes. So we came to an agreement. He's going to cover your fee, and if he's wrong, he'll swallow the bill. If he's correct and she is hiding something, then I will repay him. Don nodded, his expression thoughtful. Understood. Leroy gave me the gist of the situation that started this, but that's it. My team and I will put together a comprehensive dossier on your wife. If she's, shall we say, cheating you, you'll know. If she's just planning a surprise birthday party with an elaborate ruse, we'll uncover that too. Either way, we'll get to the truth, Jamal. That's what the hammer delivers. He punctuated his statement with a sharp tap of a weighty gavel that sat on his desk, the sound echoing in the otherwise silent room. A small, confident smile touched his lips. Okay, Jamal said, a sense of unease settling in his stomach despite Don's reassuring tone. What do we do from here? Well, we've already got a preliminary file started, Don explained, leaning forward slightly. My top investigator, a real bloodhound, will be here tomorrow morning. We'll get the ball rolling then. I'll be in touch with updates as they come in. Discretion is paramount in these matters. Jamal, you have my word on that. Don, oh, by the way, I need you to stop at the front desk and tell my secretary that we need a DNA test kit for you. And I need to collect DNA on all your kids. Jamal, well, how do I do that? Hell, last time DNA was brought up, I almost got decapitated. They both laugh. Don, I don't know, son. Be creative. WWKD. Jamal, WWKD. Don, yes, WWKD. What would Keisha do? Another hearty laugh. They both rose, the unspoken gravity of the situation hanging in the air. Don extended his hand again. It's good to see you again, son, he said, the warmth returning to his voice. Even under these circumstances. You take care now. You too, Mr. Nelson. Thank you, Jamal replied, shaking his hand. He turned and walked back through the imposing office, the weight of his decision settling upon him. Outside, the late morning sun felt strangely muted. He slid into the driver's seat of his car, the leather cool beneath him. He stared out at the bustling street, his mind a whirlwind of conflicting emotions. Being honest with myself. I trust her. I really do. The thought echoed in his head, a fragile shield against a rising tide of doubt. But she has this other side, a sharp edge. That one comment. It keeps replaying in my head. He called me because he said he wanted to discuss some intimate details. The phrase echoed in his mind. Intimate details. Intimate details. His phone buzzed, the sudden intrusion breaking the cycle of his thoughts. He glanced at the caller ID. Dad. He answered. Hey, Dad. I just left the Hammer's office. Okay, good. Leroy's voice came through the speaker, a familiar blend of concern and practicality. I hope I'm wrong about this, son. But either way, he'll get to the bottom of it. Dad, thanks for covering the work crews for me, Jamal said, the gratitude evident in his tone. How are the crews doing? Kid, what you mean, how they doing? They're doing great. Leroy chuckled. I was running this company when you were a tyke. I taught you, remember? Yes, Dad. And hopefully, one day I'll be as good as you. Leroy, hell, you're better than me already. You're doing a great job, Jamal, Leroy said, his voice filled with genuine pride. You got my strength and athleticism, so you are effective on the crew because you were working on the crew at 10 years old. It's the only job you ever had, and you learned how to manage the crew from me and your granddad, but you're even better at sales. You've been closing accounts since you were 17. And guess who came up with the term corporate bundle? You did. It was brilliant. Basically selling a combo deal, landscaping in the summer, snow removal in the winter, and tow service that they could even use personally, having their wives covered under the towing. Hammer was impressed because you partnered with him to get the contracts perfect. So you, sir, are an asset. I'm proud of you. Leroy continued, his tone shifting back to the underlying worry. And don't you worry. If she is messing around on you and you get a divorce, she can't touch the company because it's going to you in my will. You just run it now, and it'll be yours outright when I pass on. Well, it just made sense because you and Mom have a prenup, so the company pays your salary even though you're retired, Jamal said, a hint of a smile touching his lips at his father's bluntness. Leroy, that's right, son. Smart thinking runs in the family. Well, I guess we'll see what the Hammer digs up. Looking at my watch, you and the crew should be at Penny Tech by now. I got my overalls and boots with me. I'll meet you there and take over. Leroy, look at my son, always managing the company. Okay, Dad. See you soon. Bye. Okay, kid. Bye. Leroy sits in his work truck, parked near the Penny Tech site. He puts his phone down on the dashboard, a hard set to his jaw. He stares out at the emerging campus buildings, his eyes narrowed with a lifetime of watching and waiting. Leroy's inner thoughts. Trust her. The boy's got a good heart, maybe too good. Me. I trust my own two eyes and the gut that's never steered me wrong. And right now, that gut's churning. Annuity, he said. Plain as day. But she jumped like a scalded cat. Heard DNA. DNA. Why the hell would a woman get spooked by the idea of a simple DNA test unless there's only one damn reason? A surge of protectiveness, fierce and paternal, courses through him. Leroy's inner thoughts. He's a good boy, Jamal. Works his tail off. Built that sales side of the business from the ground up. Deserves a good woman, someone who appreciates him. Not some user. Hope to hell I'm wrong. For his sake. That boy's got enough on his plate without some gold digger causing him grief. But if I'm not, well, that Hammer Nelson, he'll dig up the truth. That's what you pay those high-priced suits for. A grim satisfaction flickers across his face. Leroy's inner thoughts. And we've got a pretty good safeguard in place if nothing comes of this whole thing. If Keisha ever finds out about the lawyer, the bill will be in my name, not Jamal's. No need for her to ever know I was involved if it's nothing but a misunderstanding. Keep the peace, that's the goal. For Jamal's sake. He clenches his fist on the steering wheel, his gaze hardening. Leroy's inner thoughts. DNA. That word keeps sticking in my craw. What in God's name is she hiding? He shakes his head, a deep unease settling in his chest. Leroy's inner thoughts. All right, enough stewing. Time to get to work. But I'll be watching. Always watching. He reaches over and starts the truck, the rumble of the engine a low growl. He puts it in gear, his gaze fixed on the Penny Tech site where his son will soon arrive. Saturday, April 30th, 2024, 10:15 a.m. The bright Saturday sun warms the sandy beach. In the background, the towering roller coasters of Cedar Point scream and loop, a stark contrast to the gentle lapping of Lake Erie waves. The Hotel Breakers, grand and white, stands majestically nearby. Jamal, looking like a fun dad in board shorts and a slightly worried smile, sits on a beach blanket surrounded by his three kids. Nia, bright and observant, Deshaun, energetic, and Khalil, happily digging in the sand. Nia, Daddy, thanks for taking us to the beach today. Deshaun and Khalil, yeah. They both launch themselves at Jamal, showering him with sandy hugs of pure appreciation. He laughs, pulling them close. Jamal, you are very welcome. I love spending time with you guys. Nia, ever the observant one, looks around. Where is Mom? We woke up and she was not home. Jamal's smile falters slightly before he recovers. Your mother and grandmother went to Pennsylvania to do some shopping yesterday. Well, since your mother is off work until Monday, she called last night and said they were both exhausted from all that shopping. They decided to stay overnight in a hotel so they could get some rest, and they'll be home today. Don't worry. And the boys are going to have fun visiting with your Jima later while she takes you to your karate class. Are you guys all done eating your snacks? A chorus of yes comes from the kids. Jamal, okay, does everyone remember the game we're playing? Nia, yes. We have to all gather our trash, just our own stuff that we had, and put it in our personal trash bag with our name on it. Then when you go through it, you're gonna give us $1 for each piece of our own personal trash. Deshaun and Khalil nod eagerly, already scrambling for stray wrappers. Nia, however, looks at her dad with a hint of suspicion. Dad, I'm not sure if I understand the why. Jamal ruffles her hair, forcing a light tone. Well, kiddo, it's all about memories. When you get older, you'll tell your kids about all the crazy fun you had with your old man, playing the claw and trash man and all of our little personal family games. And hopefully, you guys will play them with your kids someday too. Okay, kids, gather your stuff. As the kids diligently collect their discarded items, Jamal pulls out his phone. Okay, Google, call my pretty Keisha. After a brief ring, Keisha's voice answers, sounding a little nervous. Hey honey, what's up? Why you calling me? Jamal, because in the year 2018, I said, I do, so I can call you any damn time I please. You and mom having fun. Keisha, yeah, it's been okay. We're both, pretty exhausted, you know? All that shopping. Jamal, hey, let me speak to my mother-in-law for a second so I can tell her the kids are looking forward to seeing her. Keisha, she actually just, went downstairs to, check out or something. Yeah, she'll be, back up in a minute. Hey, look, I'm just, gathering our stuff so we can, head out pretty soon. I'll, call you shortly, okay? And how are my babies? What are you guys doing? Jamal, we are having a picnic. Keisha, a picnic? Where, in the backyard? Jamal, oh no, we packed up and went to the beach. Had ice cream and everything. And hey, I was wondering, 'cause I saw a truck that looks just like your mother's truck in the hotel parking lot across the street. Keisha, a little too quickly. Popular truck and color. Look, I really, gotta go. I'll see you when we get home, bye. Kiss them kids for me. The line goes dead. Jamal stares at his phone for a moment, a thoughtful frown creasing his forehead. He puts the phone down and turns back to the kids, pasting on a reassuring smile. Jamal, your mom said she'll be home soon, and she loves you guys. He watches his kids, a storm brewing behind his eyes. Jamal's inner thoughts. Why did she sound so nervous? Almost like I caught her off guard. And great, I have my little DNA grab bags from the kids right here, with their names labeled on each bag. My Nia is so smart. She almost figured it out. I feel bad deceiving her, but I know her mother has her set up as the DNA watchdog. She would give her mom a written report if she knew what I was doing. His gaze drifts out towards the hotel breakers across the street, his jaw tightening. Jamal's inner thoughts. DNA test. What if Nia isn't my baby? But that's impossible. She was a virgin before. Wait, or was she? God damn it. Is that why she was in such a hurry to seal the deal with me? Saturday, April 30th, 2024. 10:20 a.m. Keisha slams her cell phone down on the bedside table. Her breathing is rapid, her face a mask of frustration. Keisha. Damn. What kind of luck is this? He almost bumped into me. He is so boring. I gotta get out of that house with what's mine. Marcus, lean and cocky, emerges from the bathroom, a towel slung low around his hips. Marcus. What's wrong, sexy? He ain't suspicious, is he? We been damn careful. Keisha. Jamal just said he is outside at the beach with the kids, and he saw a truck that looked like my mom's. I thought driving my mother's car would be a smarter drive since we were hanging out in Sandusky. Marcus. Does he know it's your mom's car? Keisha. Nah, but if he looks inside and sees any of her personal stuff, he gon' know it's hers. We gotta find a way to sneak out of here. Marcus tosses the towel aside and walks towards her, placing his hands on her shoulders. Don't worry, It'll all be over soon. Marshall, she gon' be out of jail soon, and she needs money. I already told her I got a job for her, and she gon' make $1,000. Keisha, $1,000 for what? What's she gotta do? Marcus, she's gonna say Jamal did something to her. Something bad. She'll make it look real convincing. And her dude's gonna be there to make it look real. Keisha pulls away, her gaze intense. Look, I'm riding with you, but as long as nobody hurts Jamal. I just want my kids and what's mine. So what happens after that? The cops come. Marcus. Exactly. While he's fighting those charges, you play the scared little wife. File for divorce. Get that restraining order. Get him out of the house. Keisha. And the kids? I gotta get the kids. Marcus. With charges like that? They'll be yours. My lawyer laid it all out. You get your cut of the business, the money, alimony, child support. His pockets are gonna be hurting. Then, once it's done. Keisha, once the divorce is final, then what about Marshall? She just walks free. Marcus. She'll make up some story. Say she lied. Couple therapy sessions. And he's off the hook. Just in time to come back. Work for us. Marcus and Keisha share a chilling laugh. Marcus's inner thoughts. Yeah, marry you. Marshall will bump you off. I get the insurance, and we set Jamal up to take the fall. Keisha's inner thoughts. Are you crazy? I'm not marrying you, Mr. Never Faithful to your wife. You perv. You knocked me up at 18. And I don't trust that jailbird sister of yours. You all will plot on me next. Keisha. Okay, we've got to devise a way to get out of here so he doesn't see us. Sunlight slices through a gap in the heavy curtains, illuminating dancing dust motes. Keisha, in a silk robe, and Marcus Brown, handsome and shirtless, lie tangled in white sheets. Room service trays with the remnants of breakfast sit on a nearby table. Keisha smiles, tracing a finger along Marcus's arm. Another perfect week. You know how to make a girl forget all her troubles. Marcus turns, a lazy smile. That's my specialty. Making sure you have a good time. Detroit must have been thrilling with all that praying. Keisha laughs softly. Oh, it was spiritually enriching. My mother sends her love, by the way. Said the hymns were particularly moving this year. Marcus, always a comfort to know we're keeping up appearances. Speaking of which, my sister gets out this week. Keisha's eyes sharpen. Right. The timing. It's almost perfect. I am so tired of this charade, Marcus. Living a lie, sneaking around. Marcus. Soon enough you won't have to. Can you believe him, though? 7, maybe 8 years? And the man hasn't suspected a thing. Talk about oblivious. Lame, even. Keisha's smile fades slightly. Hey, no need to bash him. You already won, haven't you? This was your plan from the beginning, wasn't it? Sometimes I felt like you groomed me into this. Marcus sits up, surprised, a hint of darkness in his eyes. Whoa, groomed you? Keisha, you were a willing participant in all of this. What trip are you on? A sharp knock on the door. Keisha glances at the door, annoyed. Room service already? They were quick. She gets up, tightening her robe, and opens the door to a man in a black suit. Keisha Jackson? Keisha. Yes, I am Keisha. Man in black suit. You have been served. He hands her a sealed envelope and leaves. Keisha stares at it, uneasy. Marcus joins her. What the hell is this? Marcus looks at the document. His eyes widen. I've seen those before. Looks like divorce papers. Shit. He beat you to the punch. Checkmate. Keisha trembles, tearing open the envelope. Her eyes scan the legal text. The document reads, in bold lettering, Summons and Complaint for Divorce. Court of Common Pleas of Erie County, Ohio. Jamal Jackson, plaintiff, versus Keisha Jackson, defendant. Further down, in more formal language, it commands Keisha to answer the complaint within 28 days or face default judgment. A separate section, clearly marked temporary restraining order, explicitly restrains Keisha Jackson from coming near the residence of Jamal Jackson at 1598 Barclay Road, Sandusky, Ohio, and from interfering with the children, pending further court order. Her face pales as she continues to read. Her phone buzzes. She picks it up, still reading the papers. Reading, "Hey Keisha, no need to lie. I know you're not with your mother. The gig is up. I took the kids and all your things to your mom's house." Keisha drops the phone. The divorce papers flutter to the floor. She looks at Marcus, shock and horror in her eyes. "That Dossie." Keisha stands frozen, the dropped phone lying face down on the carpet. The divorce papers rest at her feet. Marcus watches her, a nervous energy replacing his earlier smugness. Suddenly, Keisha's phone buzzes again. She slowly reaches down and picks it up. Her eyes flick across the screen. It's an email. From Jamal. Her voice is barely a whisper. She opens the email, her breath catching in her throat as she reads. Reading aloud, haltingly. Subject: regarding the dissolution of marriage case number 475892322154710202114. Dear Keisha, please acknowledge receipt of the formal divorce documents that were served upon you. It is with considerable regret that I find myself in this situation. My feelings for you were genuine, and I confess that the motivations behind your actions are not fully comprehended by me. However, I want to be unequivocally clear that I possess a comprehensive understanding of the schemes and plans you have undertaken. This information will be presented in detail during the impending legal proceedings. To ensure transparency and to facilitate your legal representation, I am forwarding all pertinent materials that will elucidate the extent of my knowledge regarding these matters. I would advise you to review your email inbox for these documents. Sincerely, Jamal Jackson. Keisha's eyes dart to her laptop, sitting closed on the desk across the room. A wave of nausea washes over her. Marcus, what does he know about our plans? What materials is he sending? Keisha doesn't answer. Her face has gone completely white. She walks unsteadily towards the desk, her gaze fixed on the laptop as if it were a venomous snake. She opens it with trembling hands. The email inbox is open. A new email from Jamal is highlighted at the top. Her eyes scan the subject line, documentation of undisclosed activities. Below the subject line, there's an attachment icon. Keisha stares at the screen, her mind racing. What does Jamal know? How much does he know? The carefully constructed walls of her deception are crumbling. Marcus takes a hesitant step towards her. Keisha, what is it? What did he send? Keisha doesn't respond. Her hand hovers over the attachment, fear and a dawning sense of dread etched on her face. The bravado of the past week, the thrill of their secret life, has vanished, replaced by the cold, hard reality of Jamal's devastating knowledge. Law Offices of Don Nelson. Today, June 1st, 2024. Keisha Johnson Jackson. Dossier on Keisha Johnson Jackson. This report summarizes findings related to Keisha Johnson Jackson. Date April 30th, 2024. Evidence indicates that Keisha Johnson Jackson had a sexual encounter with Marcus Brown at the Cedar Point Hotel. Our office possesses photographic evidence of the couple entering and exiting the premises. Furthermore, phone records confirm a call received by Ms. Jackson from her husband at 10:15 a.m. on this date. An audio recording obtained from the hotel room captures a conversation between Ms. Jackson and Mr. Brown. The content of this recording details a conspiracy to falsely accuse Jamal Jackson of a serious crime. The relevant excerpt from the audio log is as follows. Beep, beep, beep. Keisha. Damn. What kind of luck is this? He almost bumped into me. He is so boring. I've got to get out of that house with what's mine. Marcus. What's wrong, sexy? He isn't suspicious, is he? We have been damn careful. Keisha. Jamal just said he is outside at the beach with the kids, and he saw a truck that looked like my mom's. I thought driving my mother's car would be a smarter drive since we were hanging out in Sandusky. Marcus, does he know it's your mom's car? Keisha, nah, but if he looks inside and sees any of her personal stuff, he's going know it's hers. We got to find a way to sneak out of here. Marcus, don't worry, it'll all be over soon. Marshall, she gon' be out of jail soon, and she needs money. I already told her I got a job for her, and she gon' make $1,000. Keisha, $1,000 for what? What's she gotta do? Marcus, she's gonna say Jamal did something to her. Something bad. She'll make it look real convincing. And her dude's gonna be there to make it look real. Keisha, look, I'm riding with you, but as long as nobody hurts Jamal. I just want my kids and what's mine. So what happens after that? The cops come. Marcus. Exactly. While he's fighting those charges, you play the scared little wife. File for divorce. Get that restraining order. Get him out of the house. Keisha. And the kids? I gotta get the kids. Marcus. With charges like that? They'll be yours. My lawyer laid it all out. You get your cut of the business, the money, alimony, child support. His pockets are gonna be hurting. Then, once it's done. Keisha, once the divorce is final, then what about Marshall? She just walks free. Marcus, she'll make up some story. Say she lied. Couple therapy sessions, and he's off the hook. Just in time for him to come work for us. Marcus and Keisha share a chilling laugh. Keisha, okay, we gotta devise a way to get out of here so he don't see us. End of recording. Ongoing extramarital relationship. Evidence suggests that Ms. Jackson has been involved in a sexual relationship with Mr. Brown since 2017, spanning approximately 7 years. This office possesses hotel receipts, photographs, audio, and video recordings documenting this relationship. Financial transactions and concealment. Records indicate that Mr. Brown paid Ms. Jackson $300 weekly for body massages over an 18-month period, from 2017 to 2018. This activity preceded their first documented sexual encounter. Paternity of Nia Johnson. DNA testing confirms that Marcus Brown is the biological father of Nia Johnson, conceived in June of 2018. Paternity of Deshaun Jackson. DNA testing indicates that Marcus Brown is the biological father of Deshaun Jackson, conceived in 2020. Paternity of Khalil Jackson. DNA testing indicates that Marcus Brown is the biological father of Khalil Jackson, conceived in 2022. Established relationship. Evidence, including hotel stays, photographs, and video recordings, corroborates that Ms. Jackson and Mr. Brown have maintained an ongoing intimate relationship since 2017. Confession regarding deception. An audio recording obtained during Mr. Brown's divorce settlement captures a conversation between Sharon Johnson and Keisha Johnson. In this recording, Ms. Keisha Johnson confesses to the nature of her relationship with Mr. Brown and their deliberate efforts to deceive Mr. Jamal Jackson regarding the timeline of their intimacy and the paternity of her child. The relevant excerpt from this audio log is as follows. Beep, beep, beep. Sharon, why were you and Mr. Brown staying so late after work? Keisha, Mom, okay. We had been working together for about a month when one night, after closing, Mr. Brown mentioned his old shoulder injury from baseball. I told him I used to take a class on massage therapy, and I could show him some things for his wife to do with him later. After the massage, he said his wife could never do it that good, that she has weak hands. He gave me $60 in cash and said he would pay me $300 per week to do it every night after work. But it was our secret because people would make it into something that it wasn't. So that's why I started staying late. The money was good, and it started with just his shirt open. Next, his shirt was off. And before I knew it, he would be stripping down to his underwear. This went on for a long time, Mom. 2 months ago, in June, one night after his massage, he said his shoulder was feeling so much better, and he wanted to return the favor. I asked him what he meant, and he said, "Hey, you run around the store on these hard floors. Let me rub your feet." Keisha, I didn't think much of it, so I took off my shoes. He started rubbing my feet, and then he took off my socks. It felt so good, Mom. It was the most sensual thing I had ever felt. His hands, his body was so muscular. It did something to me. And I'm sorry, Mom. I'm so ashamed of what happened next. Next thing I knew, I took off my pants so he could get my legs for me. And then, oh, Mom! Tears finally welling up and spilling down her cheeks. It happened. I lost purity with him. Sharon stared at her face a canvas of disbelief slowly being painted with horror. Wait, you lost it to Jamal on July 4th weekend. Keisha shook her head, fresh tears streaming. No, Mom. I had already had sex with Mr. Brown, twice, in June. Keisha's voice was choked with fear, barely a whisper. And oh, Mom, please. Jamal can't know. He can't know any of this. If he ever finds out, I'm scared of what might happen. Jamal will try to kill that man. So Mom, me and Mr. Brown came up with a plan to keep anybody from finding out. That's why Mr. Brown paid for July 4th weekend and the hotel. Sharon, oh, okay, that's why Jamal's so mad. You told Jamal that Mr. Brown paid for the weekend getaway. Keisha nodded miserably. Yes, it was out of spite, trying to shut him up about my bracelet. We had been together a few times, and we are very comfortable. Too comfortable around each other. So when he gave me the bracelet, we forgot the door was open. Mrs. Gable saw the kiss, me up on him with his hands under my skirt, on my bottom. She told Mrs. Brown, and Mrs. Brown took the bracelet and fired me. I have to avoid going in the store with Jamal, but that's easy, he won't go in there. Sharon's, that still doesn't explain why he paid for the romantic weekend. Keisha's voice rose in desperation. Mom, use your brain. Okay, we had to set Jamal up. Sharon's eyes widened. Set him up. Keisha nodded frantically. Okay, you know Jamal was thinking I was still a virgin. So, we planned the romantic weekend. The sexy ambience of the hotel room. To give me a reason to not seem like I was rushed, to make it seem more organic, you know? Me wanting to have sex with Jamal. And it worked. We had sex. Sharon stared blankly. Call me slow. I don't get it. Keisha's voice dropped to a strained whisper. Mom, Mr. Brown got me pregnant. In June. And since Jamal thinks I'm a virgin, he will think he got me pregnant then. So, Mr. Brown and won't have to tell anyone that we did what we did. Sharon's breath hitched. Her face was ashen. My God, my daughter is evil. Keisha. Tears streamed down Keisha's face. Mom, please. This can't get out. Sharon looked at her daughter, a complex mix of horror and a desperate kind of love in her eyes. Okay, she whispered, her voice barely audible. Okay, I promise. A heavy silence descended between them. This dossier presents a preliminary overview of the evidence gathered to date. Further investigation may be required. Respectfully submitted, Don Nelson, Attorney at Law, Law Offices of Don Nelson. By Felicia, Keisha. Don the Hammer Nelson's Law Office. 8 months later. Don the Hammer Nelson, sharp suit, confident air, leaned back in his large office chair, a satisfied smile playing on his lips. Jamal, looking significantly brighter and more at ease, sat opposite him with his father Leroy, whose supportive presence remained unwavering. Don. Well, Jamal, after those long 8 months, I had to say that divorce concluded all things considered, quite peacefully. Avoiding a protracted legal battle over assets was a significant victory, especially considering the complexities. Jamal, a genuine smile touched his lips. Yeah, those 8 months felt like an eternity, but knowing everything was finally over, it was like a huge weight had been lifted. It was good knowing Keisha had no claim on the house since it belonged to the company, and we were just renting. Leroy, you handled it well, son. Dragging it out would have just caused more pain for everyone, especially after everything we learned. Don, I can't thank you enough for uncovering that conspiracy to frame Jamal for assault. That was a close call. Jamal. Yeah, Don, knowing what they were planning. I shudder to think what could have happened. Thank you for getting that statement from Brown's sister too, confessing their plot to later harm Keisha and frame me for it as the estranged, disgruntled husband. That was some incredible work. Leroy glanced pointedly at the thick dossier on Don's desk. Don. Indeed. The DNA evidence was irrefutable, legally establishing Marcus Brown as the father of Nia, Deshawn, and Khalil changes the landscape significantly regarding child support. Don. Precisely. Furthermore, the information we had gathered indicated that Keisha had been employed and earning her own income since she was 15 years old, and she currently held a position with a decent salary. Given her established financial independence, alimony was not a factor in this divorce settlement. It was already decided she wouldn't receive any. She had always worked and was not a stay-at-home wife. Jamal. That was a huge relief on both counts. I had been worried about the company, and it was good to know she wouldn't be seeking alimony since she was perfectly capable of supporting herself. It was also a relief knowing I got to stay in the house. Leroy. That was right, son. You were moving forward. Don. Indeed. We could now concentrate fully on the child support matter. Jamal, you are in good shape. You got to keep the company because it was in your father's name, and the house was titled to the company. The kids were not yours, so Brown had to pay for them. No alimony because she had always worked. This all turned out great. I love it when a great legal strategy comes together. Your granddad was a smart man, learning to hide and secure your assets behind the company fence. Jamal. So, what happened then? She was gone. The divorce was final. Did he just get to walk away from all of that responsibility for his kids? Don. No, Nia, Deshawn, and Khalil. They were legally his children, and he will be held accountable for their financial well-being. Leroy. Good. That man needed to be held accountable for the mess he created. Messing with my son's family like that. Don. Calmly. Now, regarding the company, Jamal, as we discussed, the established family tradition ensured its continuity within the Jackson lineage. Your grandfathers will clearly stipulated that the company passed from father to son. And since the company was still in your father's name, then it couldn't be considered a marital asset. Jamal. Right. Grandpa willed it to you, Dad, and you would will it to me. It had always been that way. Leroy. Exactly. Keisha's involvement in the marriage never altered that tradition or her lack of claim to the business. It was a Jackson legacy. Now, son, you have to get busy finding a new lady and produce an heir to the Jackson family legacy. Don. Precisely. Furthermore, the information we had gathered indicated that Keisha has been employed and earning her own income since she was 15 years old, and she currently holds a position with a decent salary. Given her established financial independence, alimony was not a factor in this divorce settlement. It was already decided she wouldn't receive any. She has always worked and was not a stay-at-home wife. Jamal. That was a huge relief on both counts. I had been worried about the company, and it was good to know she wouldn't be seeking alimony since she was perfectly capable of supporting herself. It was also a relief knowing I got to stay in the house. Leroy. That's right, son. You're moving forward. Don. Indeed. We can now concentrate fully on the child support matter. Jamal, you are in good shape. You got to keep the company because it was in your father's name, and the house was titled to the company. The kids were not yours, so Brown had to pay for them. No alimony because she has always worked. This all turned out great. I love it when a great legal strategy comes together. Your granddad was a smart man, learning to hide and secure your assets behind the company fence. Jamal. Thank you, Don. And thank you, Dad. I don't know what I would have done without you both. Leroy. We're family, son. We will always be here for you. This is a new beginning. A chance to build a future based on honesty and truth. And we will make sure that company stays right where it belonged, with the Jacksons. Don Nelson nodded confidently, picking up the dossier. The three men shared a look of determined resolve. Thanks for watching until the end.
Thank you for watching the finale of WDRA Drama Radio's Payback Anthology series. Is your partner lying about her boss? We hope you enjoyed watching all 3 episodes. Black coffee with cream, and black coffee with cream and sugar. We spent a lot of time planning, writing, and producing our videos, and your support means the world to us. As a smaller channel, YouTube's recommendation system doesn't always show our videos to new viewers. The best way you can help us continue to grow and create more stories is by doing 3 simple things. Asterisk like this video if you enjoyed it. Asterisk share it with friends or family you think would like it. Asterisk subscribe to our channel. And turn on notifications. Every single like, share, and subscription helps YouTube's algorithm recognize that our content is valuable and worth sharing with a wider audience. It's a small action that makes a huge difference. If you haven't already, please visit our channel and explore our library of text-to-speech videos. You might just find your next favorite story. Thanks again for watching.